All right. What's up? This is another edition of the ATL Three Style Podcast. I am one of your hosts, Lee OG, and we're back doing another podcast, man, doing it real big, man. And as you can see, man, we got a guest tonight, and we got one of my other co-hosts holding it down, man. I got to pass it over to my man Banks over there, man. What's going on with you, Banks?
Man, Leo, how you feeling today on this Friday? How y'all doing out there?
Man, thank God it is Friday, man. It is Friday, man. I'm feeling good, man. Banks, I appreciate you, man. And we're going to get into it here in just a minute and have a good time, man. So listen, since y'all already see that we got a guest, man, he's no stranger to the ATL 3 Style Podcast, man. I'm going to go ahead and introduce him and just let him do his thing, man. I got my boy Reggie McKee, man. My man, my confidant, man, my it was my president, man, my soccer guru, man, my man Reggie over there, man. What's up, Reg? What's going on with you, brother?
Man, what is going on, fellas, man? Thanks for having me again. Just glad to be here to act up with you.
Man, absolutely, man. And that's what we do. We act up, we have fun, man. We have a good time, man. So we got a lot to get into tonight and talk about on this show. Because sports is what we like to do. We had fun, and we got a lot to talk about some of the things that happened last week, some of the things that's going to happen as we record this show moving forward into the future. So we'll get right into it. So Banks, you know how this goes, man. I ain't got to tell you. We got a couple of partnerships that we've been working with, man, and we're going to continue to shout them out, man. So Banks, let's go ahead and get to our first partnership, man, that we've been shouting out, man, real good, man. Go ahead and tell everybody about our folk out there on the east side.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Why don't you go out here and check out my man Phil with his Eastlands Woodworking Company. He will go ahead and hook you up with all your woodworking needs. If you need a coaster, an ashtray, something to hang on your wall, something very memorable, hit my man Phil. He will hook you up with Eastlands Woodworking Company. Hit that QR code and tell him we sent you.
That's what's up, man. That QR code y'all see at Eastlands Woodworking, man. And I always say, listen, I always get in trouble because I say we're gonna swing back around to it at the end of the show, and we never do. So look, I'm gonna leave it up for I'm gonna block my boy Banks out just for a little minute, man. So if anybody want to get that QR code, man, hit it now, scan it now. Cause for some reason we get into it, man, and I never come back around to it. So y'all see Eastlands Woodworking. Shout out to my man Phil out there doing it with big, man. If y'all need something, man, hit them up. Birthdays, bar mitzvahs, weddings, whatever, baby showers, whatever, man. Y'all hit him up, man, for all y'all woodworking needs, man. Hit that QR code up, man. And if you don't see something on the site that you interested in, work with him and he'll try to bring it up for you. So look, got the other partner that we've been dealing with, Banks, for a while, man. Got to definitely shout out my man BEZ, my man Bocce over there. Y'all know what it is, man, with that moisturizing and conditioning beard spray. Definitely been working with me and working with my beard, man. 470-222-9927. 470-222-9927. Shout out to my man Bocce, man, doing it real big with BEZ moisturizer and conditioning spray. I'm still doing it, man. Like I said, anybody see me out here in the streets, I still got some bottles, man. Reggie, if you want to check out some, man, I know you sporting the goatee. I don't know if you want to do the full real deal, but you know what I'm saying? Let me know, man, and I got some product for you, man, if y'all trying to get into that, man. As you can see, that's what's up, man. I like I said, I will hook you up, man. As you can see, we can't pick on the third member of our team, man, on ATL 3 Style Podcast. Our boy Derrico, he's not with us, man. We usually pick on him at this part of the show because of his lack of facial hair. And we always say, man, we're gonna get him something to try to get this out, man. And Banks always say, man, is he there? Is he there? I don't know, but I'm gonna get him some out there, Banks, and we'll see if it help him out.
You just putting water on a baby's butt at that point.
But that's what's up, man. We'll try to get him out there, man, with that BEZ, man. Shout out to our boy Bocce. Like I said, man, if y'all from the A, man, that name Bocce is synonymous in the city, man. So y'all don't even have to know, man. I tell y'all, Bocce, man, he gonna stand on business. He gonna stand by his product, man. So shout out to them Bocce boys, man, doing it real big. Banks, before we jump into the meat of the show, man, let's do the fit check, drink check, man. You know what I'm saying? Let's do it how we usually do, man. Let everybody know what you got going on, man.
Nothing really, really, really out there, man. I'm doing it really simple with the Atlanta United hat. I'm rocking the five stripes. Nothing really over the top, man. I'm doing it very simple today. And also simple with the refreshments. I'm doing the Crown Apple today. Feeling kind of crowny today. So for a King franchise, I'm gonna have to do it with a royalty King beverage. So yes, Crown Royal.
That's what's up, man. That's what's up. Reg, you wanna shout out something over there, man, on the fit drink check? On the fit drink check over there. You wanna shout out something?
Yeah. I got the what I got here is I got the 2021 home, John. So I had to rock that, Five Stripe Friday. So that's what you do. You wear your five stripes. And look, I went hardcore with it. I wasn't playing around. I went and got that water and I put it in the big John. See that right there?
At H2O. We all aspire to be you. I be having some real life problems. So sometimes I be having to drink some brown water, but it's all good, man. Not that Flint, Michigan water, but I'll tell y'all about that brown water I'm drinking in a minute, man. But yeah, shout out to our boys over there, the Five Stripes, man. And shout out to that Footin' Mo B. We'll get into that here in just a minute, man. So listen, I got something special on that I want to feature real quick before we move on and start actually talking about the Five Stripes and Footin' Mo B. So as we record this last day of February, last day of Black History Month, I actually have on, I don't know if you can see the whole attire, but I have on my Negro League jersey here with all of not most Vegas. I was looking back, so I was looking for the hat to go with this. I could never find it. I've had this jersey for a while, but when I was in Vegas, I actually found the hat to actually match the jersey. How about with all of
Looks like our co-host here, Leo's having technical difficulties. But as you can see, he is styling from Vegas with the Negro Leagues hat to match the jersey. Reggie, I am sitting here and I'm admiring Leo here, and he's always trying to outdo me with his fit. And I say that he really, really came to play today. I really must say.
I tried. Am I back? Am I back with everybody? Banks, am I back with us?
Yes, you are.
All right. Just back with everybody. I don't know what happened. But we work through them. We know how to we know.
Seems like he's having a bad connection over
We'll
there.
do it. I'll tell you how to get it. Say what?
Seems like you was having a bad connection over there. Don't worry, Leo. I got you, brother.
Okay.
I got you, brother.
Okay. We keep working through it. Can you hear me? Everybody hear me okay? Are we good? Okay, we good. All right. No problem. Thank you for holding it down. Thank you for holding it down, man. So listen, we're gonna go ahead and get into the show, man. Before I don't know. I hope I paid my internet bill, man, before they cut me off. I don't know, man. There's a lot of stuff going on. So let's go ahead and get into the meat of the show, man. But let's run this thing, man. Listen, fellas, man, Atlanta United, man. Y'all already know, man. Shout out to the Five Stripes, man. Last week was a movie, man, and I say that lightly, man. Opening weekend, man, for MLS. Our Five Stripes were in action at home, man, and we did it big, man. Reggie, listen, I'm gonna kick it over to you first here, man. Listen, dude, we've been doing this now for quite some time, right? And shout out for them OB, shout out my people, man. Shout out A-Roll, man. Shout out you. Shout out to my boy Ray Sean. Shout out to Jeremiah, man. I can't shout everybody out, but listen, man, tailgate was on, moved back to lot 17. We had a real good time, man. So before we actually talk about the game, man, Reg, I just want to talk about the atmosphere and moving back to lot 17, man, and how it is, man. Just seeing everybody on opening day, man, for MLS, man, with our boys, the Five Stripes, right?
Hey man, it was wild. I'm gonna tell you what was so wild about it to me though. Biggest thing for me is there were so many people who came back. There's some people I ain't seen at the tailgate, man, in years, literally like 2 or 3 years, and they came back. And it was something I was thinking about on the way home. And that was, a lot of times the supporter groups and the vibe with us often will mirror what's happening in the season with the players and with the team. And so Miggy came back. We got new players. I know we're gonna get into that, but it was just that excitement, man. And so I hadn't seen it that packed at a tailgate again in years, and I hadn't seen so many people. So I just had a great time, man. It just felt really good just reconnecting to people, man.
Man, absolutely, man. Listen, the vibe was there, man. I'm always, and Reggie, you and I always have open and transparent conversations about things, man. And, sometimes, man, I could be a little bit off, but as the tailgate continued to transpire and things started to happen, man, I started to feel really, really good. I'm not going to go into the details and particulars about everything, man, but then at first I was like, but then the vibe started to roll in, and that's why I'm gonna bring it over to you here, Banks, man. You show up lot 17, man, because just in case you didn't know, man, we've done a lot of fluctuating, we've done a lot of moving with these supporter group tailgates, man. We started out in the Gulch 2017. Well, no, so actually, I'm wrong. We started out at the varsity lot 2017 opening day. That's where we started. Then we finally moved over to MBS, and then we moved into the Gulch. Then we moved away from that, moved over to this lot 17, moved over back to that lot. Now we're back in lot 17, trying to bring that same magic back that we had early on with Atlanta United. So, Banks, I'm going to kick it over to you, man. First tailgate of the year, move over to lot 17. You pull up on us. And you were there, man. I mean, you was having a damn ball. Let everybody know how you was feeling, man, over there at lot 17, man, at the SG tailgate.
Listen, only a few eyes see when Banks go out there and do his thing. But for the ones that were blessed to see it, I can get down with the get down. Let me tell y'all something. That was just a fraction of what I can do. I didn't have enough substance in me to get myself really going. But I, for one, felt really good being back out there. It felt like coming back home for being away for so long. I know last year, I did a little cameo appearances in these tailgates, promising that I was going to return. I'll be back. And then, all of a sudden you look up, the season's over. I start off on the right foot, gentlemen, and we sitting here, and for you, Leo, for even believing I was going to actually be there. Ha ha, fooled you. I was there. Nah, 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 nah. But I was just saying, though, I'm here. I'm back home, saying it felt good. Remembrance of back to when, we was at the varsity, man, and I didn't know what was going on. I was just looking around, kind of nervous, it's like, should I be here? Like, I don't know about this, Leo. Maybe I need to just go ahead and fall back, But, I stuck it out and had a blast. Had a absolute blast.
Man, for real. Listen, man, dude, those are memories, man, that we won't forget, man, that we'll always cherish, man, with this team and coming in with them from ground level, Banks, because a lot of people can't say that, man. Right, Reggie? A lot of people can't say they came in ground level day one over at the varsity, man, not knowing what to expect, not knowing what to understand, man, about bringing in a brand new soccer franchise into a league that has, let's just be real, man. The MLS has rebranded itself and has tried to do everything they could to make themselves as relevant as they can in the sports world here in the landscape here in this country. And they're starting to get some, I'm going to be real. They starting to get some real traction as far as like being really relevant, man. They're growing. We've had a lot of expansion teams come into the league. Shout out San Diego this year. Shout out to St. Louis a couple of years ago, man. But it was crazy, man. Initially, we've talked about this several times on the podcast, right, Reg? But coming into the league, man, in 2017, it was wild. It was, and it's an experience now. Not like you said, Banks, coming back every year now. It's almost like a class reunion, like, right? You know what I'm saying? Like seeing a lot of people that started out this thing in 2017, and it's like oh man, we're back. Here we are, class reunion. Good to see you now, man. so many years now removed from the opening season, right, Reg, man? It is really, really fun to do this tailgate with all the supporters and how it's changed and how much it actually means to the organization and what it does for us fans, man, just getting us hyped and getting us ready to go in there and watch them boys put on, right?
Yeah, it was. I will say this too. I remember that first tailgate, man, at Bobby Dodd and at the varsity parking lot, and I didn't know what was about to happen because I had never been to an in-person game anywhere, not high school, not middle school. Last time I played soccer, I was I think I was like 10 or 11 years old. So I didn't know what to expect. I had just started watching the Premier League. And to go into Bobby Dodd, and the way the stadium is set up is you go up the steps and then you see the field. Then you see the pitch or the field. And so when I went up and then I looked down and I saw them warming up and everything, and that just the whole spectacle of it blew my mind. And then we were packing Bobby Dodd every week, 55,000 every week. That was all of that, which is blowing my mind. And that first goal by Assad, Yamil Assad, my ears were ringing for like 2 days after that. I mean, it was just an experience. I was like, oh, I got to do this again because once you go, like I would invite people all the time to games. They'd be like, oh, I'm coming. And so those who came after that one time, when's the next game? I'll send you the schedule.
Yeah, man. Listen, it's an atmosphere like no other. You know what I'm saying? We talk about it, and I try to amongst ourselves we talk about how this is, but like until you experience it, man, it's indescribable. That's the only way I could put it, man. I try to tell people all the time, Banks. You know what I'm saying? And like I said, I kind of brought Banks in, man, and then doctorated and baptized him and doctorate, whatever you want to call it. I brought him into the culture. He was familiar with soccer, but he wasn't really fully invested into the culture. And when he saw it immediately, man, he was invested. Like you said, Reggie, man, it's one of those things where like, come out, do it up, do the whole thing, man. Come out, join us for a tailgate, man, and come out and watch a game, man. It is something that you won't forget, man. And it's so fun, man. It really is so fun. So let's talk about the game a little bit. Let's talk about, like I said, once again, shout out Footy Mob. Shout out to everybody. Shout out to our president, A-Roll, man. Shout out to everybody put on for Footy Mob, man. And we do it real big with the SG, man. So listen, let's get into the game. So fellas, yeah, had a great time at the tailgate, obviously, getting prepared and getting ready to go in there and watch them take on Montreal, one of the teams they took on in the playoffs. And Reggie, I'm gonna spin this over to you, man. So listen, we end up taking the home opener like we wanted to. Obviously, you always want to get that win. A lot of moving pieces. So before we actually talk about the win, let's talk about all the moving pieces that we had going on with Atlanta United, because I don't think we've had an opportunity to kind of talk about and go into some of these things. New faces and some returning faces, right? Miguel Almiron, who returns back to this team after going over to Europe, going over to England and playing in the Premier League for Newcastle. He comes back, and then we actually bring in a new striker. Like I was telling Banks the other day, man, this thing with these transfer windows in the MLS keep getting higher and higher and higher, and we know why. It's the Messi effect, and everybody wants to compete. So, Reg, let's just give a little precursor, but before we talk about the actual game and our win against Montreal. But new faces, old faces, Miguel, and then we brought in Latif, the new striker, man. Let everybody know the significance of that, man. And then also our new coach or our new manager, how that all is going to impact this season here with Atlanta United.
It was a lot because no one knew what to expect going into that transfer window, and we didn't know. So we surprised everybody in the playoffs by beating Messi and Inter Miami in the first round. Shocked everybody. I mean, it was all over the world, literally all over the world, that we knocked them out. People didn't know who we were, and so we had an interim manager then. Shout out to Rob Valentino. I know he's not here, but he did an amazing job to motivate the players to do what they did. And those players beat the number one player in the world, and some of his former partners from Barcelona. He beat them, and they beat him. So now we go, you know, we don't have a coach now. We got rid of Boca Negra, who was over operations. They got rid of him, and now we've already lost two major players. So George Giacomakis is gone, and then we also lost what's my man's name again? I forgot his name. That's bad. But we've already lost our best players, including Caleb Wiley. So we've lost some good players. So, you know, we sold them and got a lot of money, but we got like $50 million for these transfers once they left. And so people wanted to see what we were going to do with that money. So the rumors started flying, and they said, well, we might be getting Almiron back. So if we get Miguel Almiron, that's going to drive the fan base crazy because he helped us. He's one of the main players who helped us win that championship in 2018, him and Joseph Martinez. So once it started looking like he was coming back, that was starting to build the excitement. And right before that, they had just announced that, you know, we had a new guy, Chris Henderson. He was coming over to us from Miami. And so I'm like, okay. I know he worked with Lagerwey in Seattle, and that's how they built their little dynasty. Okay. And then we found out we were getting Ronnie Dyler from Celtic. He won the championship with New York a couple of years ago. And then he goes over to Europe, and he's winning over there too. So we got people with major experience, and people may not remember this, but, you know, Almiron didn't just go to Newcastle. He played in Champions League, and he scored in the Champions League. So he's played at the highest level, and he came back. So we're like, okay. So we got that. Now we're starting to build a front office. We still need a striker. Okay, so what are we going to do? Almada's gone. Giacomakis is gone. Who are we going to get? So everybody's throwing around all these names, and can we afford these people? And why don't we get this person? So they said, well, we're going to get this guy, Emmanuel Latelaf. I said, who? Emmanuel Latelaf. So first thing I do, I grab my phone, and of course I'm a YouTube everybody. I started looking at the clips, and I'm like, we trying to get this dude? So he's playing in the championship. So in the Premier League, they have this pyramid for leagues. So the Premier League, obviously for their name, they're the top. Right below them is something called the Championship. So the Championship League is where he was playing. So Emmanuel Latelaf was playing for Middlesbrough, and he was the leading scorer for the team. And he wasn't just scoring goals; he was blowing people away. He was doing little moves here and there. He got hops like Jordan. He's dazzling people. And I'm like, I can't believe we're even thinking about getting this guy. It's to the point where I'm watching Sky Sports when they open the transfer window coverage, and they're talking about us and getting this guy. So I'm like, we ain't getting this dude. Somebody in the Premier League gonna get him. But we ended up getting this player. He wanted to come. He was excited to come. And so I'm like, okay, now I'm ready. So the excitement is just building. So now we call him Slam. So it's Saba Lubzanise, one of our DPs. He's a winger. He's great skills. He's one of the people who was terrorizing Miami. Now we got Emmanuel Latelaf. He's L in Slam. Now we got Miguel Almiron. And then we have Maranchuk, who they brought over. He's from Russia. This guy's also top of the line. So now we've got players in the front with major European experience and skills. So now we can't wait to see what they're going to do. And we weren't disappointed in the first half. So one of the things that we noticed was how fast Latelaf is. I mean, he's fast with
not to cut you off, Reggie. Not to cut you off, Reggie, but not only that, we still had guys, and we still had pieces like Zande Silva, and we still had Edwin Mosquera, and we still had my man TRA. Still got him as striker from France. We still got Muyamba, if I'm saying that right.
Yeah.
We still had a plethora of players hold over from a team, like you said, that was with Rob Valentino that got, let's be real, they got deep into the playoffs, and then you add these guys, and this is crazy. This is insane. And all of this basically based upon the fact that, you know what I'm saying, they know how important it is to try to get Atlanta United back to prominence, right?
I think for me, the biggest thing is now we got serious depth. You know, I used to be real worried about injuries because that time 2 years ago, I mean, somebody called it duct tape and prayer and defiance, and I was like, yeah. And so I'm not worried now. We got a lot of depth. We were already giving people problems last season. We just needed that extra.
Man, listen, you know, when we saw, I think, and I'm gonna give it Banks. When we saw like you said, we've talked about the addition of bringing in Latte, shot, Latte, Emmanuel Latte. Hey man, don't kill me on the butchering of the names, man. Y'all know where I'm at. And we brought in Miguel Banks. Real talk, we had these conversations about having to bring something back to this squad, because we were used to having the Josephs and the swag and what we were just so used to with Atlanta United. And like Reggie said, man, they dug deep, and you know what I'm saying, Bocanegra out. Shout out to all the fans that wanted Bocanegra out. He's gone, man. Garth Lagerway, he's like, hell, we got to continue to build, man. So now, you know what I'm saying, we'll talk about the game, man. But before the game started and you saw these just Miguel Banks, right? Bringing Miguel, I'm sorry, fellas, I can't call him Miggy, but bringing Miguel back, man, how important was that to you as a Atlanta United fan to see him come back after his tenure over in the Premier League, right?
Listen, I was scrolling through the internet and I was seeing like before he came, there was a possibility that he would return. I thought it was like a spam. Somebody was spamming. I didn't believe it. I'm like, he's at a Premier League. I mean, he's in better places. Why would he come back? You know, lo and behold, fellas, no lie, no lie. I was just on Facebook and I see that random guy just posting, and Miguel Almiron is in Hartsville International Airport taking selfies and pictures with people. And I'm like, what's going on? Like, is he like visiting? What is he here for? Oh, we got him back. What? Huh? What? My guy came back. Let me tell you something, fellas. This was nostalgic for me. Okay. I went back to the match last week feeling like the old days. Yes, we don't, I mean, it was half of it, I guess. Joseph wasn't there, but Miguel Almiron was there. I was like, oh my gosh, like it was like the buildup. And I was talking to Reggie. I said, how do you feel about this? Like, am I the only one feeling like this is like a redo of this feeling of what Atlanta United might become or what we were? Are we going back to
2.0,
that? I mean, is this something that am I overshooting my shot with this? Am I in the right lane? And everyone besides Reggie was saying, no, you feeling the right thing. And this is, yes, we are returning back to what we were. And that's almost like bad news to the rest of the teams in MLS,
Yes,
because
it
you do
is.
not want Atlanta United back where we were. I see what St. Louis is doing. I saw what Miami is doing. Shout out Miami for calling us out and feeling like this is the only thing that you have to do this season is beat Atlanta United. No, you got bigger fish to fry. Don't worry about us. Okay, I'll listen to your beat reporters, and then we don't care about nothing else but beating Atlanta United. Okay, be careful what
and
you wish
and
for, because you will see us very
and,
soon.
and Banks back.
Reggie, I was just sitting back. I was
As
like, you. Well, go ahead, Leo. Is he there?
okay, am I here? You
Yeah, you
guys
there?
give me a
Okay.
thumbs up if you see me. Okay, I'm here. So I'm just saying, back to having because you know what I'm saying, the South Americans, when we came in, you know, all gas, no break. And I say that, I know that sounds cliche, but that's how we started as a franchise, as coming into ain't do nothing. You said, Reg.
I guess I'm gonna fill in until he gets back through.
Um, I'm hoping I'm back through. Am I back
You
through,
real
fellas?
choppy. You,
Thumbs
you
up. Am
real
I back
choppy,
through?
Leo. You go. You keep getting good, and you go back out again, and it's
My apologies.
I don't know. Yeah, yeah, yeah. You're good.
Okay, so listen, let's so before we, you know, this all gets messed up, let's get to the meat of the game. Let's talk about it. 3-2 win, Atlanta United over Montreal, man. We got a brace for our new striker, Lati La. Kick it over here to Reggie. Reggie, tell us in your own words, man, what this actually means for his confidence, man, and what this does with him scoring a brace in the opening game here, man, against Montreal.
Yeah, man. I mean, it's always. I mean, we don't quite always understand how difficult it is, to come into a league. Now, I mean, you come into a league and you don't. I mean, he speaks 5 languages, so he's good with communication, but it's still a new league, new stadium, new fans, new players, and having to adjust to this new manager and and the way we play. So for him to come out there and not just score one, but to score twice. I mean, you could tell he was so relieved. I mean, just if you looked at the coverage of him when he first got here, he was already blown away by the facilities, by our training facilities, by Mercedes Benz. He's like, I'm playing in here. Can we play now? And he was just taking a tour of the building. So he's really enjoying himself right now, man. And it's so good to see people playing for Atlanta United who want to be here and who are excited to be here. So the first half, man, was amazing. The press was working. We had them on their heels. We were just handling business. Second half, though, that's when you started to say, okay, they got to work on their communication. They got to learn each other. Chemistry in any sport is important. So you saw that there was some miscommunication, but they still, unlike last year, we used to kind of give games away at the end defensively, but they pulled it together, man. So it was just wonderful to see. And then, of course, Mosquera with the assist from Miguel. I'm the wrong guy that got an assist, and we needed a goal. Mosquera just got subbed in. Edwin Mosquera hits a banger,
It
man,
was a
and
strike, man. It
Golazo.
was a
Golazo.
strike, boy. Oh my goodness.
people lost their minds, man. I mean,
Absolutely.
I
it
lost
felt
my
like the old
mind.
days.
Listen,
I
man.
lost
So
my mind because it was just a beauty. It was a beauty. I mean, it was just whoa.
I mean, we're no strangers to that, man. You know, Mosquera's been doing that since he's been with us, man. He's been one of those guys that has come off the bench, man, and has done his thing with us, man. So we're not no stranger to him doing this thing, man. Golazo, man, big kick, and like I said, man, big assist. From our boy Miguel, man. So listen, man, like you said, Reggie, man, got the brace from our boy. 42nd minute, man, he came in on the set piece, got the header, and then in the 63rd minute, was able to get that strike at the top of the box. And like I said, then Mosquera comes in, man, and we take the lead, man, go up 3-2, and we get the 3 points, man. Obviously, man, really, really big to win the first game. But Reggie, once again, and Banks, I'll take it over to you here, man. The communication, and I think these things are going to kind of happen as the season progresses. But I'm always, I don't care what sport we're playing, I'm all about defense, man. And I want to talk a little bit about our man Brad Guzan. He was able to hold it down. Obviously, yes, he was under a little pressure, man, coming into the second half. But it's all going to be about communication. I think we're so used to seeing strong players on the back line. And, I miss shout out to our boy Miles, man, who was such a big part on that back line, man. And then he's moved on to bigger and better things up there in Cincinnati. But I think that we're gonna have to get stronger on the back side, man. Banks, you know how I am when I talk about defenses, man. I think this is something that's gonna get better. But how did you see as the game kind of went on from the start all the way to the finish? Do you think it's something, with communication? Because I felt like some of the defensive stuff needed to start in the midfield and then kind of strengthen up in the back. But do you think this is just it's the first game? Are we worried about this? Or is this something that's just, it's the first game. It's the first couple of games. This is going to happen. The communication is going to get better and the defense is going to get better, right?
I believe so, Leo. I was watching the match, and the first half, was two different games on both halves. Very aggressive. Atlanta United was playing. I haven't seen it in so long to see the way they were playing. I was like, this is so good to see again. To actually attack the ball, attack the players. I'm like, I
Front
was
foot, front foot, stand
blushing.
on the
I
front
was
foot.
absolutely blushing. Second half, though, I don't know what happened. I don't know if Montreal adjusted. It was like, okay, what happened? Where did that first half team go? I mean, it's like they kind of fell back on their heels a little bit, and it was like Montreal was dictating anything they wanted to do, and I was getting kind of concerned about it. And then Brad Guzan, I'm not too hard on him. I don't know if I read this somewhere, but it was saying that is it time to move on from him because of his age, for his age, for what he's still doing to this day, I think it's very impressive. Um, is he going to be perfect? Absolutely not. But what he did last week, I thought he did a fine job. I think, those two goals in the beginning of, the first two goals, do you blame him? I don't think I can. I thought a lot of stuff had to break down and a lot of stuff that had to set up for that moment. I look at it from afar. At first, I was like, Brad, what are you doing, bro? Then I had to really reanalyze the whole play. I was like, okay. He's human. He can't do it all. So for his age, no, I think he is doing a phenomenal job. Forever Brad Guzan. I'm not going to ever say anything bad about this man. Do we build a statue for this man outside Mercedes-Benz? Yes, we will. I hope we will. Yes. Statue, my man Brad, please.
He's
But
big, he's tall,
yes, and I
he's
want that.
able.
I want that in quotation, and that should be in quotation. So
Uncensored.
let me
Is it?
tell you
Hold on, hold
something.
on. Hey, wait. Reg, let's get some context. Is he's big, he's tall, or is he's big, he's ball? Which one is?
It
Because
depends.
you the
It depends.
you the
Look,
capo.
it depends because there's been many a time when I'll say he's big and bald, and then by the second verse he's big and he's tall. So
Listen,
it
it's not.
depends.
It's not wrong. It's none of it is wrong. Okay, it's not wrong. Let me tell you something. I don't believe that Brad Guzan will play for anybody else. Since he's been here, the appreciation that he's has as this fan base has been so by even before the championship. He's been very, just appreciated. I've never seen other fan bases go so hard for their goal. Maybe I'm blind from it. I don't know, but I've seen different chants for different players that are around the league, and it's not for their goalie. It's for, their superstar on their team, whatever.
Yeah.
Let me tell you something. He's beyond a star for me. I think he's very. When you think about Atlanta United, you think about him. He is the face. You go down the concourses around Mercedes Benz, you see him all over the place. You know, he deserves it.
He's earned
I
it. He's earned
cannot
it.
see a day without him. It's just I since day one, Leo. When we was at Georgia Tech, he was there. So I mean, it's like I
Man,
can't.
listen.
I can't see no another goalie right there. I
He
mean,
he he he's definitely earned it, man. Definitely earned it. I mean, this dude here. So if you want to look at, what I'm saying, the leadership of Atlanta sports, man, when you talk about like Matt Ryan for the who Matt Ryan was to the Atlanta Falcons, when you want to look at who Freddie Freeman was to the Atlanta Braves, Matt Guzan is that person to Atlanta United. He's been here since day one.
Let
In
me
his
tell you
tenure,
something. To hear the goo where he makes a stop, man, I still get chills and goosebumps from that. That's 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 not something. That's a reason for that, fellas. It's a reason for that, and I don't think nobody outside of Atlanta will understand that. That's why I said he needs a statue outside next to that soccer ball or whatever you want to put it at. You need to have him out there doing whatever, This petition check one for me, Banks statue.
put him there.
Yes,
Put him there. Build a
yes,
statue. Let's start.
yes, yes.
him and another guy that we're not going to talk about him until because he's moved on too, but we'll probably end up having a conversation about building a statue for somebody else here, but we'll leave that conversation for a later date. So look, Reggie, we're gonna move on. We're gonna talk about a couple other things, but let's talk a little bit about here Atlanta United and let's move forward. 3-2 over Montreal. We get a big win, man. Opening day. I'm so proud and I'm so happy about that, man. As we talked about, Lati. Help me out, Reggie.
Man. Come on, Latte Love.
Latte Life
Just
scoring the
say it,
brace.
man. Just say it, man.
Emmanuel
Just say Emmanuel.
Latte Life scoring the
No,
brace.
Emmanuel. For you, just say Emmanuel.
Emmanuel. Is that better? Emmanuel scoring the brace for us, man. And then our boy Edwin Mosquera coming in on cleanup duty, man, scoring the Galazzo, man, to give us that victory, man, after the tie. And so just a wonderful thing, man. Like I said, a joyous day, man, as we had. So look, let's move forward. Let's talk about what's gonna go on in the next game here against Charlotte, man. We got Charlotte coming up here, man. So listen, this has been something we've talked about this several times on the podcast, man, as we watch this thing here go. And this is crazy, fellas. Let's talk about this for a minute, man, because I am so when I start looking back over some of the things that we kind of wish for and hope for when we saw Atlanta United coming to the league, as far as like regionally, it's happening now, fellas. Guess what? It's happening now. We saw Nashville coming to the league. We saw Charlotte coming to the league. So now we have regional rivals, and this thing is starting to play out like we wanted to play. We're starting to see some of the organic stuff that we wanted to see with this league and how we wanted to see it play out. All of us have traveled. We've all went up the road to see Atlanta United play Nashville. We all went up the road to see us play Charlotte. So now here we are, second game of the season as we take on Charlotte. And it really means a lot now that everybody has kind of moved over into the East now, because Nashville was over in the West for a little bit. Now they're back over into the East. So it means a big deal, and it means a lot. Reggie, I'm going to kick it over here to you. We do this 85 rivalry now. We're no stranger to this, because obviously we talk NFL football. The Carolina Panthers are right up the road too. So now we bring in quote unquote Mid City, Queen City, whatever you want to call them, Charlotte FC up there now. They're coming off a 2-2. If I'm not mistaken, somebody can fact check me on this here. I'm trying my best to come off the top of the dome. 2-2 draw against Seattle up there in Seattle, and now we take them on in a very important game. Reggie, I want you, just from a supporter standpoint, to talk a little bit about, if people don't know how big this is, because we started something as supporters with this belt, and how this is going to work out and how to materialize and who's all involved. So as we take on this game tomorrow against Charlotte, how very important this is, not only to the table with MLS, but how this is with us supporters, with what we got going on and what's at stake, right?
Hey, man, huge shout out to Curtis, man. Curtis Jenkins, the former president of Footy Mob, the first president of Footy Mob, amazing mind, brilliant mind. He came up with the idea. He said, they got the Cascadia Cup for up in Seattle and Portland. Everybody's got different rivalries and different prizes and whatnot, but we didn't have anything in the South. And wrestling is big in the South. Y'all know this. You can go down the line, just run down the names of all the different wrestling stars we've had here in the South. So he said, we need a belt. And I said, oh. And I remember having this conversation with him. He said, let's get a belt. I said, let's get a belt. See what happens. And we have now a Southern Champions belt. And so the belt is going to be, it's a competition between DC united. Yes, DC is still in the South. They don't like to admit it. That's a whole nother conversation. But you got DC, you got Nashville, you got Charlotte, and you got us. And so at the end of the season, this is a competition between the four of us.
Reg, hold on. I just want to say this before you continue on. The proper South, right?
The proper South. And so we all play each other. So whoever has the best record against one another at the end of the season gets the belt. And it's not some little rinky-dink little tiny belt. It's heavy. Y'all have held it. It's big. It's solid. It's authentic. And so for a long time, the first time we had to give it away we had to give it away to Nashville because they had the better record. They kept it for 2 seasons and they showed out with it. They're all over the place. But they in schools and football games. They everywhere with that belt.
Churches.
Just shameful. They didn't care. So now, unfortunately, last year, because our season was the way it was, Charlotte got it. So now Charlotte, little biters, I call them biters because they bit the pregame ceremony we have. They bit the logo for the most part. The owner been talking trash. And now they're trying to beat our attendance record because we had 65,000 last week. So they want to try to beat that. They're a bunch of biters up the road. So I want the belt back and I want them to go sit down. I don't care who they got playing for. I don't care if they got Zaha and Ajma. I don't care who they got.
Listen, that whole city has a complex when it comes to Atlanta. I noticed that they have this, big brother, little brother kind of thing. We are the Atlanta North. No, you're not. You're not Atlanta anything. Listen here. I get it. You're the gateway to the South. I don't know who told you was that. Because I thought the gateway to the South was Atlanta. I thought that's what I heard when I was a child. I don't know. Maybe am I off wrong? Am I wrong about that? Maybe I heard wrong. Oh, okay. So Charlotte, no, you're not Atlanta 2.0. You're not Atlanta anything. I don't even know why Atlanta's in the same sentence as Charlotte. I've been to Charlotte a lot of times. The sign that I see outside Atlanta United, Mercedes-Benz is "Bless Your Heart." That applies to that. Charlotte, bless your heart, because you think you're bigger than you are, and that's all I can do is just sigh. It's just it's okay. All right.
I listen. So I'm gonna be the first person to say this, man, fellas. Listen, hey, I'm gonna say this. Look, I love y'all, Charlotte. I really do, man. Mecklenburg County, man. We appreciate y'all hospitality. But when it comes to this thing on this field with these teams that we got, man, there's no love lost. Okay, but from a hospitality standpoint, as far as being a great Southern city, man. Look, man. Yes, Charlotte, man. Kudos to y'all. But yes, let me tell y'all something, man. It's only one Atlanta. Okay, it's only one Atlanta, baby, and we are who we are, and we've earned our stripes. So listen, man, everybody know about y'all. Y'all don't know, everybody know about Charlotte, right, Reggie? We all know about them. Y'all ain't got nothing to prove, but y'all still gonna stand in line behind the A. Always, every day. Y'all gonna stand in line behind
in every sport. In every sport.
In every sport.
Not just Atlanta United.
Y'all gonna stand in line behind the A, man. Whether it's the Panties or whether it's the Hornets, whatever. Y'all gonna stand in line behind the A. We love y'all, but y'all gonna stand behind. We all have a common enemy. Banks, we'll want to start about the common enemy that we have between us.
We're not going over there. We're not doing that.
We're not gonna go there.
Not today. I'm feeling good today. We're not talking about them. We're not talking about them. No, we're not talking about them.
But listen, we love y'all. We love y'all. But listen, tomorrow at 2:00, you know what I'm saying? Y'all gonna have to take this beating. Y'all gonna have to take this beating. A segue into that, man. Reg, man, listen, man. Real important game, like you said. You talked about how, just from a supporter standpoint, man, how we rolled this thing in, man. Because like the MLS is so organic, man, and it's so I love how connected the fans are with these teams or organizations. And shout out to our boy Kurt and Footy Mob and what he was able to do in incorporating this whole Southern. And I say that, and I was I was being funny, Reg, but I'm real talk, man. It's the real proper South. We talk about Nashville, and we'll give DC the pass. We'll bring Charlotte into this conversation, and then it's us. But them teams down there in Central and South Florida, man, y'all ain't South. Y'all ain't South. Y'all ain't South. I said that with an F. Y'all ain't South. So yeah, man, big importance not only to the table with MLS, but to just the supporters and how we do this thing and how we pass around this belt, man. Because to quote my man Ric Flair, man, in order to beat a man, you got to beat the man, and it's gonna start tomorrow with beating who got that belt, and that's y'all. So, Reg, let's tell everybody, man, what we need to do in order to put that foot to butt when it comes to beating them boys up there in Charlotte.
Hey, first let me say, woo! Hey, I had to get that in there, man. You know, but no, what we got to do really is we just got to limit the ball getting to Wilfred Zaha. You know, he came from Crystal Palace. He was a scoring machine at one point, you know, and he's here now at Charlotte. And then there's a big dude. He's like 6'4", named Ajman. We got to limit them. So it's almost like the NBA where you're not necessarily going to stop, you know, Curry. You're not always necessarily going to stop LeBron. But if you can keep the ball out of their hands, you got a chance. So defensively, and I was watching some of the press conferences with the midfielders, and also with Steon Gregerson. They were talking about, you know, communicating more in the midfield and really, really sticking to whatever they're doing in the formations. Like for them, they have to really tuck in and let the wingers do what they do on the outside. So I look for a lot more pressing. I think they're going to try to keep that same energy that they had in the first half against Montreal. They need to keep that same energy for both halves against Charlotte, because you got major threats. So you got to keep the ball away from them.
Hey, man, absolutely, man. I remember watching Zaha, Crystal Palace, you know what I'm saying? Like, just run with the wind. I mean, he's not the most sure-footed striker, but, you know what I'm saying? In this league, man, anything can happen, man. And him being, you know what I'm saying, a top-tier talent coming over from Europe, man, you know, definitely have to watch him, man, and definitely see what he could do, man. And hopefully, like you said, we can shore up that midfield, man, and we can play a lot better on the back end, man. I have no doubt that we could probably – you know, to quote my man Derico, put balls in the back of the net. I think we're gonna put the balls in the back of the net tomorrow, man, and hopefully we can pull out a win, man. But yeah, it's gonna be a challenge, man. And obviously, yes, man, we are up to seeing top tier competition, and that's what we want, man, moving forward with this team. Banks, we're gonna kind of transition into another topic here for just a second before we close this thing out, man. But are you looking forward, man, to seeing us play this rival tomorrow, man? And how do you feel about us moving into this game against Charlotte?
Yes, I'm very looking forward to it. You know, this game last week kind of got my juices back going again. Um, I feel like this match against Charlotte it's a very important one. Yes, it's a regional rivalry game, if you will. I feel like this will basically catapult the Atlanta United going forward. I mean, not just, you know, for the first month of, going into March. I mean, just going to the summer. I mean, I think this is a real pivotal game for them. I'm hoping. I guess I hope I'm not selling the team short here. I just want a result. You know, I want a result. I mean, if it's 1 point or three, I just need a result. You know, I think, you know, we can't afford to have such a big high from last week just to fall on a dud this week. You know, I think we need to keep going forward, propelling ourselves to be where we want to be. I'm not asking for a supporter shield. I'm asking for just progression and seeing this team ascend and ascend and ascend and being, consecutive, um, being positive about this team instead of saying, okay, what the hell just happened last week? What the hell just happened these three matches in a row? What are we doing? You know, I don't want to I don't want to be asking those questions to them anymore. I think that was a
I'm asking
bad
for that
place we
belt
were
back.
at.
I
Well,
know that.
no, no, no. I see what you're saying. I get it, but I think for what, for the broad thing, I'm talking about the whole entire season as a whole. I don't like being in that space we were in, these last couple of years. I didn't like that feeling. I felt like we were just dwindling away. People was not talking about Atlanta United anymore. It was like all about Miami. It was all about Seattle still. It was like Atlanta who? I mean, it was like I didn't like that because at one point we were the cream of the crop. We were that team. So I want to get that back again. I want people talking about Atlanta United once again, good or
And I
for
want
Absolutely.
bad.
that fear too, because I mean, for a long time they didn't fear us. People used to fear coming to the Benz. I want that fear.
Absolutely, man. Definitely. And part of that is being able to win, being successful, like you said, Reg, man. And then, that energy from what the team is doing feeds into us as fans and makes us hungrier and more eager to support them and making this. We talk, so this is no secret, man. I don't care who's playing in Mercedes-Benz Banks, right? House of Horrors is the title I want for everybody to walk into that stadium, whether it's in NFL or MLS. I want it to be a house of
Absolutely.
horrors for
Absolutely.
opposing teams. You know what I'm saying?
Absolutely.
That's what we want.
Absolutely.
And
You
it
know,
starts with the play of our teams and the energy that we reciprocate, because what we see from y'all on the field is what we're gonna give to y'all. If we see y'all going out there going hard, we're gonna go hard for y'all as fans. And we do this. This podcast is us talking as fans. So if I can talk to the teams, it's like, hey, y'all go out there and do what y'all got to do, and we're gonna do what we got to do as fans in the stands. And as a capo,
listen,
Reggie, you know how that it goes with energy. Banks, go ahead.
I was just about to say, I do a lot of um internet surfing, sleuthing, or being nosy, if you will, or whatever you want to call it. I go through different, teams, fan pages, throughout the whole league. Okay. And I just like to give a feel and a temperature how they feel about certain other teams. And, you got teams all the way, Portland, for example, I remember a dude said, I cannot stand to hear that train horn. Yes, I'm glad you hate it. I'm glad you hate it. And then other people chime in and put their 2 cents in about it. A guy from Vancouver, Vancouver. I mean, okay, you all the way up there. You're talking about our infrastructure down here in Atlanta. You have no idea. You stay up there, okay? You stay up there. You worry about Vancouver. Don't worry about Atlanta down here, okay? Because we're gonna take care of you once we see you. So I digress. I like to feel what the other teams are feeling, and they just have this in this hate that they have. I don't know where it comes from, Reggie or Leo. I don't know where it is. It's just they hate Atlanta, and I just don't know. It's because of us. If it's because of the fans, are we the ones that you hate, or is it a really team that you hate? Because obviously we're doing something right. If you hate us, okay, so. I don't have any quarrels with Houston. I don't have any quarrels with LA Galaxy. Okay, for you to hate us, we're doing something right, or we're doing something that you just jealous of. For somebody, that guy in Portland, you hate our train horn. It has nothing to do with Atlanta. You don't know anything about Atlanta.
And
Because
let
if
me
you
tell you
did,
something.
you will understand what the train means,
And let me
dummy.
and let me tell y'all something real quick, man, before we wrap this thing up, man. Ain't nothing plastic about none of us. Reggie will tell you, man. Reggie, there's nothing plastic. So all y'all internet keyboard
Listen,
gangsters
that
talking
came from
about plastic
Orlando.
in this
That
fan
came
base and
from
whatever the case may
Orlando.
be,
That
and
came
us
from
not
Orlando.
being authentic, there's nothing plastic about us.
Let
Us
me tell you
three
something,
right here on
Leo.
this podcast, ain't nothing plastic about us.
It's not being plastic. That started in Orlando. Okay, let me tell you something about those teams out there that wear purple. Okay, until you get this, until you get that right here,
See it,
until
see
you
it,
get that,
see it.
then you can say we're plastic or where we are. You can't say that right now because you don't have that.
Don't have it.
Yeah, you
They
beat
don't
us
have it.
last year in the playoffs. Yeah. Whoop de doo. Okay, we about to see you too.
Don't see that.
I'm
They
not
still don't
worried
have that
about
club.
you. I'm not worried about if you keep talking about if you get a star above your crest. That's when you talk to me.
Fellas, listen, man. We had some other things to talk about, man, but we had such a good time here talking about Atlanta United and talking about, organically what's gonna happen, man. Listen, I look forward to watching So Reggie, I'm gonna give it over to you for just a second. I want to add something in before we close this thing out. I want to give the floor to you to actually talk a little bit about something that's gonna go on tomorrow. But before I pass it over to you here, Reggie, I would be remiss if I didn't say something, and it just fell upon my heart to say it. And I don't want to really get emotional talking about this, but I have to say this. We had the first game, and I'm gonna always talk about my boy Tony, man. Listen, the tailgate, man, was epic, and I know your spirit and your energy will always live on with us. But I gotta shout out to my boy Macaroni Tony, man. He's no longer with us. We talked about this, and I'm getting a little emotional and choked up, man, because this was a brother, man, that truly, genuinely loved Atlanta United. And he truly, genuinely loved just the camaraderie and brotherhood and family of just the fan base of what Atlanta United was. And I talked to Banks, I don't think you were there, but I talked a little bit of Derico about it. And I was like, yo, I was waiting for him to kind of walk up, like he always did at the tailgates, right? And holler at us. But I still felt his energy and I still felt his presence, man. So I definitely, before we close this thing out, I definitely got to give a shout out to our boy Tony, man. And we miss you, man. We love you, brother, man. And we appreciate you. So I definitely had to shout that out, man, because it was on my heart, man, as we talked about this thing, man. I love my brother. Reggie, I know this is going to be kind of hard to pass this over to you, man, but we're gonna show this thing out. We playing Charlotte up there. But we got a Footy Mob is doing something big over there in Decatur, man, for our away games, man. I hate to pass it over to you like this, man, but let everybody know what's going on for our away games, man, over at Benchwarmers.
Hey, man. Yeah, before I even mention that, Monday's Tony's birthday. So, if you find it in your heart, when the course of the day, I know how Mondays are for people at work and all that, but just remember that, brother. Anyway, let me move on because I'm gonna start getting emotional too. So listen, we bringing that wildness that Tony used to love at Grindhouse. We bringing that wild energy back for watch parties again. So we gonna be back, man. We're gonna be at Benchwarmers, and it's gonna be Benchwarmers Decatur. Let me look up the address again. That's 240 West Ponce de Leon in Decatur. So 240 West Ponce. Come to Benchwarmers. Try to be there. The game starts at 2:30. Try to be there by 2 at least. And we're going to act a fool, and we're going to bring that energy that Tony would love. This was Tony's Benchwarmers used to be his spot. So that was one of his go-to places. And so now that is our watch party location. So if you can make it, come through, bring a friend, tell a friend, bring your cousin, bring everybody, because we're going to act up.
Hey, man, for real, that's what's up, man. Absolutely, man. If you can make it out there, head over to Benchwarmers, man. Check us out, man. Footy Mob gonna do it big at the watch parties, man, for the away games, man. But listen, man, fellas, listen. We're at the mark. We've had such a fun time talking about Atlanta United, man, as we always do. I definitely appreciate both of you all, man. And like you said, man, Reggie, we definitely appreciate you joining us. Shout out to our brother Derek Holford, and he'll be back with us to holler and talk about some Atlanta United soccer, man. But as always, man, it's a pleasure. Reggie, back over to you here, man. Let everybody know where they can catch you, man, before we close this thing out.
Hey, man, I'm still on Facebook. Don't tell nobody. You can find me at my name, first and last, Reginald McKee. I'm on Facebook. I'm also on IG. It's MCREG McRed69. And I'm also on Twitter at that same handle. Holla at your boy.
That's what's up, man. Listen, Banks, always, man. You already know, man. We do what we do, man. And it's been fun, man, bringing Reggie in, talking about Atlanta United, man. And just bring that fire is back. I can tell listening to you talk, man, that fire is back with Atlanta United as we start to kick this season off, man, and do this thing, man. Because we know, hey, listen, it's them. Look, we got a couple other teams about to fire this thing up, and we'll talk about them as the seasons progress, man. But they're back. Atlanta United, something that just bring us back, right?
Listen, I want to appreciate you, Reggie, for coming on the show, man. It seems like you are like a honorary host of our show, and you always come in the clutch for us. Let me tell you something. I appreciate you, and I see you at the tailgate, and I'm like, you know what? I don't know what it is. Maybe I need to outgrow this because I get nervous every time I come to the tailgate because I'm like only person I know is Leo and Derico. I don't know anybody else, or they know me by face, and I just say, "Hey, how you doing?" But I'm not a kind of guy that's going to approach people, But when I see you, I just loosen up. I say, "Okay, all right, I'm back." You know what I'm saying? And like I said, it's a good feeling to be in an environment that way and it shouldn't even be that way to be nervous. You know what I'm saying? I don't know why I even always do that. Coming into Atlanta United tailgate, I need to break out of that. I know I do. I need to just open up and stop being the way I am. But I appreciate you, sir. And to be very knowledgeable and giving me info every time I speak to you because I learn something new every day, you know what I'm saying? 'Cause especially, I'm trying to grow in the sport and I'm trying to be very, you know, a part of it. If that makes sense to you. If you hear people talk about it, you're just sitting there like, uh-huh, uh-huh. And I'm like, I don't know what you're talking about. So so um I
Big
appreciate you,
ups.
sir.
Big
I,
ups to
I
Reggie.
really, really appreciate you. Leo,
Man,
appreciate you as
thank
well,
you.
for keeping me grounded into this sport. I'm very to the point where I don't want to be just mainstream of football, baseball, and basketball. I want to do it all. I want golf, I want soccer, I want tennis, I want badminton. I want all of it. You know
Pickleball,
what I'm saying?
all
I
of it.
want
We're
all
gonna
of it.
get in
So I want you.
it.
I appreciate you for keeping me grounded in the sport and for me to explore it more. Said
Let
I'm
everybody know
trying
where they
my
can
best.
find you. Let
Oh,
everybody know where they
okay.
can
I'm
find you.
sorry. I'm blabbering. I'm blabbering. I'm sorry. You can find me at Antoine Jarrell Banks at Facebook, and you can find me at Baby Banks 80 on Instagram. Guys, hit me up on my DM. You know what I'm saying? Do not be afraid to talk. I've seen a lot of people at the tailgate who said they just hugged me. I don't know who you are, but thank you. I'm glad you are noticed me by face. That means a lot to me. Leo and Derico always give that hard time to me, the fact that I don't have an assistant on my social media
He
platforms,
looking
but
for one.
I don't
Yeah.
need one. I don't need one because what it is, what it is. It is what it is.
That's what's up, man. Listen, we're gonna get to one, man. Shout out to the ATL 3 Style Live. You can catch us on all social media platforms, well, most social media platforms, man. On that ATL 3 Style Live, you catch us always on FB, always on the Twitter or whatever they call it these days with that clown. That I'm not gonna go into that, man. But yeah, catch us over there, man, at ATL 3 Style Live, YouTube, FB, Twitter, all of that. Like, subscribe, follow, hit us up, DM, Reggie, Banks, Derico, man. Much love, man. We appreciate all of our listeners and all of our followers, and much love to everybody, man. This has been another edition of the ATL 3 Style Live podcast. We'll come back with you with much, much more from a fan's perspective. We're out.